All right, and I am live. Alrighty, as you can see, welcome to another stream. I want to talk about what's been going on all over the internet. This so-called black fatigue nonsense. There's two sides to it, but I look at it as a ploy. It's a stir up confusion and racism, because as black people as a whole, we could have what we tired. We've been having fatigue. You know, we think about what happened to our ancestors, many centuries ago, and we still feeling the effects of it today. So I don't get this nonsense of black fatigue. No, if y'all had black fatigue, I'm talking about the other people now, the so-called pale folk. If y'all had black fatigue, then why some of y'all youth trying to dress like us? Y'all listen to hip hop. A lot of the white youth today listen to hip hop. I bet you a lot of the white youth, they listen to hip hop more than they listen to country music and rock music. You go to the average white Gen Z party, they playing hip hop music. Where does hip hop music come from? Ask yourself that, white folks. Where does hip hop music come from? Black people. It started in New York. It started in the black communities in New York. And I understand, because I'm trying to be fair. I understand they tired of the ratchet behavior, but don't y'all have ratchet behavior too, white people, in a trailer park? You see what they do? They don't show their negative behavior online. They try to hurry up and keep that under wraps. Y'all act like y'all people don't commit crime every day. Crime happen in every community. Crime is crime. Y'all want to make our people the face of crime in America. No. If you live in a certain community, you're going to have crime. I don't care if it's the black community, white community, Asian community, purple community. I don't give a damn. You're going to have crime. So this black fatigue stuff is nonsense. It's nonsense. And I understand, as a so-called black man, I understand. I'm tired of ratchet culture, but y'all got ratchet culture too. All groups have ratchet cultures. Let's just keep it a buck. I'm sure they be fighting and getting drunk in them trailer parks, the so-called rednecks. Y'all want to talk about Pookie and Ray Ray and Keisha and Shaniqua. What about Cletus? Earl, Cletus, Doug, and Earlene. When they get that Budweiser in their system, you don't think they could turn up? You don't think Doug, Cletus, and Earlene, and Charlotte, you don't think they turn up when they get drunk? They probably be fighting. It'd be cousins fighting each other. You got some of these rednecks fighting each other over their female cousin. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. That's why I say this is nothing but a ploy. This is nothing but a damn ploy. To stir up anti-black behavior, anti-blackness, because they figure, they trying to really go back to the old ways. They figure Trump in office, so they think they going back to the 1920s and 1930s. No, them days are over with. And you see, some of these so-called these racist white folks, they want to use the N-word. They really want to call us that out in open. But let me tell you something. If you go around calling black people the N-word in a net racist way, you're going to get the repercussions you deserve. And I understand, that, all white people never owned slaves and all that, but that doesn't mean nothing. Y'all still benefit for it. Y'all still benefit from it. And yeah, y'all still got the white privilege, So why y'all talking about black fatigue? Why y'all talking about all that? Y'all privileged, We the ones have fatigue, We still feel the effects of what happened to our ancestors, even though. And the ratchet culture, who promote the ratchet culture? Y'all media does, And I understand we had some of these sellout rappers You know, the so-called small hats, you know, they Caucasian too. They not the real people of the book. They not the real Yahudim. You know, I don't care. You know, I ain't monetized, so I'm gonna say what the heck I want on this. You know, I'm gonna say what the heck I want. I ain't no monetized channel. But yeah, it's crazy. All over the internet you see this. And now you got some of these tethers, you got some of these coons, these tethers, these undercover white supremacists, you know. They always, you know, they want to show the ratchet behavior of black people. And I understand that. I don't like that crap either, but why y'all not pointing out to the ratchet behavior of white people? You know, like at some of these sporting events. For example, you know, you got some two white guys, they'll probably start fighting over at a children's baseball game because, oh man, y'all son team cheated. They start fighting over crazy stuff. You're going to have buffoonery in all cultures. All cultures have buffoonery, but you see, they want to make our people the face of the buffoonery in America. They want to make our people the face of the ratchet, you know, but y'all promote that. And you see, when you, and I blame Hollywood. Hollywood has a part of that too. For those that's tuning in, man, y'all welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. But anyway, what I want to see. Hollywood has a part to blame that too. Y'all want to promote the ratchet behavior. Why y'all not calling out Hollywood? So all y'all white people, y'all need to be calling out Hollywood and say, look, cause the media is powerful. You know, people gonna imitate what they see on the media. You know, they gonna entertain that. So why y'all don't call that out? I'm just saying. But y'all want to say, oh, black fatigue, this. And y'all hijacked that term because black fatigue, that's y'all stole that term from a book that somebody wrote about black fatigue. You know, y'all hijack that term, just like y'all hijack anything that black people come up with. Anything that a black person come up with, y'all gonna hijack it. You know, y'all trying to infiltrate the music industry. Y'all trying to take all the music. Next thing you know, y'all gonna try to y'all learn a lot of, y'all took a lot of stuff, just like these so-called PUA artists, these so-called dating coach pickup artists learning game. Where do these damn white dudes learn game from? The black pimps, you know, the black playboys and the black pimps back in the days. And now fast forward to the 90s and early 2000s, you had these PUAs. They learn all they game from a black dude. All, you know, damn pimp. All OG. See, that's what they do. They study under a black person. They take the shit and they think it's their own. You know, copy and paste. Copy and paste. That's what they do. They did it in slavery. Like if a slave came up with an idea or invention, they came up with the patent machine and patent for themselves. Or they threatened the slave and say, you better not claim this. I invented this. Straight up. But y'all talking about black fatigue. No, our people been tired. You know, our people been tired. And shout out to the Most High for burning down that plantation in Louisiana. I don't know if y'all heard about that plantation burning down. You know, all praises to the Most High, man. Burn that plantation house down in Louisiana. I hope he burned more of them down. Yes, indeed. Shit. Y'all talk about black fatigue. There's more issues we could deal with in this society. Y'all worrying about, y'all obsessed with black people. You know, that's what's wrong with some of these races. They're obsessed with our people. They obsessed. They obsessed. They obsessed with our own people, man. You don't realize times is tough. Y'all worrying about what our people doing. Y'all need to be worrying about that damn orange orangutan. Y'all need to be worrying about that orange orangutan. Straight up. What he doing in office. Straight up. But y'all want to talk about black fatigue. Y'all tired of, y'all tired. Y'all tired of this and that. Y'all better be worrying about what y'all champion doing. Because it's not looking too good right now. Inflation. You know. And you see what this is? This is nothing but a ploy to get everybody to turn against us. We already know we the most hated group of people on earth. That's prophecy. That's biblical. That's biblical. And I could prove it. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing but Psalms 83 all over again when they talk about this black fatigue stuff. Let me go there. That's the scripture I thought of when how all the nations conspired against Israel, which is us, the so-called Negroes. Because I don't believe that 12 tribe chart buffoonery. That ain't nothing but buffoonery. Israelites still teaching that 12 tribe chart BS. Man, shame on them. It's 2025. They still want to promote that 12 tribe chart BS. You know? Yeah, it says, keep not thou silence, O Yah. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yah. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So a tumult, that's an agreement. They mean they came into agreement. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So that's talking about one group of people. Cut them off from being a nation. Who don't have a nation? Who don't have a nation in America? What group of people don't have a nation in America? So-called Negroes. We want to be Muslims. We want to be Christians. We want to be New Age practitioners. We think we Egyptians. We think we African. We think we Native Americans. We all over the damn place. Come on, I see. Cut them off from being a nation. It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent or agreement. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the lot. Selah. So when I hear all this talk of black fatigue, and now you're going to have other non-blacks trying to chime in on it, they acting like we the problem in this country. How we the problem of this country? We don't make the rules and regulations. We don't have the high seats. Yeah, we got some black politicians, but they don't hold no power. They not gonna let them hold that much power. They might hold certain seats in Congress, the Senate, but they not running stuff. They still got to take orders from their white overseers. Same thing when it comes to wickedness, just like the secret societies. You got black secret societies. They still got to take orders from those white secret societies. Come on now. This is some buffoonery. This is some damn buffoonery. And I understand. We've been calling out the black ratchet culture. You've been having a lot of black content creators calling out the black buffoonery in the so-called black community. But and they get flack for it. They get flack from it by black people. They want to call them sellout, coon. You're not a coon or sellout if you call out the buffoonery in the black community. You just address. They ain't no different from calling out wickedness. Like the prophets in the Bible did. They was calling out the wickedness of Israel. I'm sure they did the prophets the same thing. When Isaiah prophesies against Israel, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and all the other prophets in the Bible, I'm sure the Israelites did the same thing to them, calling them traitors and sellouts. Then they did the ultimate, they killed the prophets. All because the prophets was calling out their sins and telling them to come back to the Most High. They didn't want to come back to the Most High. They don't. But the media, y'all talking about this black fatigue, y'all want to show all the negative stuff of black people. Y'all part of the blame. Why y'all don't show black people doing positive stuff on the news? Y'all always got to show our people doing negative stuff on the news. If you want to see black people doing something positive, you got to go on the internet. You have to go on the internet. You have to search the articles on the internet. But if you watch a local news, when they talk about the crime section, it's either going to be somebody getting shot, black on black crime, a black person robbing or domestic assault. But all groups of people commit crime every day. And I always tell people, I say, if you want to see white people crime, if you got cable, just watch Discovery ID. Just watch Discovery ID. Just watch the ID channel. I mean, they be doing some of the most heinous stuff. You got some of these white children. They killing their parents for the insurance money. It's always you gonna kill your parents for some insurance money. I mean, husbands killing their wives killing their husbands for the pension and all that, all kind of crazy stuff. But y'all want to talk about black fatigue. Why y'all not calling out y'all own ratchetness in y'all own community? You know, the rednecks, the trailer park trash, you know? Because let's keep it 100. Like the uppity white folks, y'all, they don't want to be around the white trash. That's why y'all call them white trash. Y'all don't want to be around, you know, even though y'all on code, y'all still on code. Don't get it twisted. Y'all can't stand those trailer park trash or the rednecks or the hillbillies, but y'all still on code when it comes to coming against us. Don't get it twisted, brothers and sisters. They still on code, even though they look at them as scum. They look at them as beneath them. I'm talking about the, you know, the uppity white people. They look at the trailer park trash below them, but when it comes to being on code, they still on code when it pertains to being against our people. Straight up. Real talk. Yep. It's crazy. And you're gonna have a lot of content creators. You got some of these bootleg Negroes talking about black fatigue. You know, they doing it for clicks and views, these damn grifters. You know, I seen, shout out to Elder Baba Rasad. He was going off on Anton Daniels. Now you got some people calling out Anton Daniels saying he a tether. I don't know about that. They calling that man a tether. You know, but you're gonna have some of these tether content creators speaking against it though. They have no place in it, you know. You know, they need to stay in their lane. They need to stay in their lane. Y'all worrying about our people. Y'all need to be worrying about what's going on in society, because America always been divided. This country always been divided since it was formed. Since when the colonizers came here, they wiped out the natives. They killed the natives for their land. This land was always divided. This whole, I don't care, they call it United States of America. It's a joke. Ain't nothing united about these states. Ain't nothing united about America. It's a joke. It's a straight up joke. It's a crying shame. Y'all call it the United States of America. How is it united when we be dealing with stuff like this? It's 2025 and now they want to try to make this a trending topic, black fatigue. What about racist fatigue? We tired of racism. We tired of these racist fatigue. Driving while black. If you a so-called black man or woman, you driving a nice car, you get pulled over by a cop. They want to pull you over just to harass you, especially if you're a black man. They don't want to see a black man with nothing. These insecure racist cops. And want the brother to tense up so they could have adjustable reason to shoot him. They want to be justified. No, you just mad because you a damn pasty ass cop. And you see that brother, man, he driving a nice car. It could be something decent. It could be a pickup truck, and you mad because that brother driving, he worked hard for that truck. You think you want to stereotype him? Oh, he must drill dope. You know, that brother could be working a normal job, a normal 9 to 5. He probably saved money. He probably have a nice saving. And he got him that truck or car, and he decided he want to put rims on it and then sound system. Now you're gonna go press him. You're gonna stop him and press him and search the car thinking he a drug dealer. And some of y'all racist, crooked cops, y'all plant drugs on some of these brothers. You know, y'all got so much issues to talk about. What about the prison system? How corrupt the prison system is, you know? Because I was watching a channel on YouTube. It was called, I forgot what the channel, it was showing the conditions of prison. Man, these inmates be bugging out in prison. They be on drugs, be abusing drugs. You know, y'all let all kind of corruption going on in the prison systems, you know? But y'all don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about nobody, this system. They don't care about nobody, but y'all worrying about what our people doing. Y'all need to be worrying about this damn wicked ass system. All those white folks talking about black fatigue, y'all need to be worrying about the damn system, because they don't give a damn about y'all either. Y'all too stupid to realize that. They don't give a damn about y'all. Y'all part of the y'all just fodder, y'all cannon fodder, just like the rest of the working class people. Y'all cannon fodder, how do you see that shit? You know, bullshit English language. But yeah, well, let's call out the wickedness. You know, the justice system, we know it's unfair against us. You know, because when they write the laws, they write a law for them and they write a law for our people. Different, the same law, but different effects. Y'all, when it comes to certain laws in this society, it's a law for their people and it's a law for us. And I see this time after time. A black man and a white man, they rob two different banks in the same city. They both get apprehended, right? They give that white person a slap on the wrist. They might give him about maybe 10 to 20 years, but he ain't gonna serve all that. But the black man, they gonna give him 25 to life, if not life. If not life, they gonna give him life without parole, just for robbing the bank, and he didn't have to kill nobody. He could just probably steal some money out the vault, and he don't even kill nobody. But since he, yeah, they all. What's going on is envy turned to hate. That's all that is. That's what I'm saying, sister. Yeah. This black fatigue is nothing but a covert racism tactic. It's anti-black propaganda. They just wanna come with the bull crap and showing all the negative stuff that our people be doing. Like we already know that's going on. But they act like that don't go on in other communities. They act like Hispanic people don't be thrown down like that, going crazy in public. They just don't show it on the news. They always want to focus on our people, what our people doing. I'm sure they got videos of white people fighting in Waffle House. They probably got a plethora of videos of white people fighting in restaurants. But they always want to focus on black people fighting in restaurants. I'm sure you can go all over the internet and they got videos of white people thrown down in public places. Why they not calling that out? If you want to see the law of the white folks, just go type in the people of Walmart. You be having some of these damn out of shape white folks, riding the electric cars, these Karens. Some of these Karens, they be on electric cars. What about Karen fatigue? Since y'all want to talk about black fatigue, we Karen fatigue. Why nobody bring that up? Karen fatigue. What about Karen fatigue, y'all? Karen fatigue. Because these Karens something else. Karen don't want black people to have no fun. Karen's so much of a hater. She see a group of black children at the park playing, having a good time. She want to call the cops on some black children that's just having fun in the park. You a big hater, Karen. You a big hater. Straight up hater. But yeah, this is some nonsense though. Black fatigue. We've been tired though. We've been tired of the systematic racism, the injustice in the court system. What else? And we know we ain't getting paid equally on these jobs. I don't care. I don't care what a black person do for a living. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you're a school teacher, a bus driver, even if you in the IT industry or any successful. If you're a black nurse, I bet you they play, say like for the nurses. They don't pay these black women. They make good money. Don't get it twisted, but the salary ain't the same. Say like it was a sister, she a nurse, she might make about 80K to 100K a year. That white nurse might make between 90 to 120K. She might make different. They pay us different on these jobs. Straight up. Straight up. So they can miss me with there ain't nothing fair in this society. And they like to use this one. Oh, hold yourself up by your bootstrap, man. Our ancestors tried to do it. They did. Black Wall Street, y'all burned that down. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, Rosewood. And I'm sure they had many other successful black cities or towns they destroyed, but we don't know nothing about it. We probably have to dig. We probably have to do some digging on the internet. Straight up. We have to do some digging on the internet. We know about Rosewood and Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. But yeah, y'all, they want to cover that up just like they want to try to remove slavery out of the history books in the school system. You see, they trying to hide the dirt they did. Y'all can't hide the dirt y'all did to our ancestors. It's going to come to fruition. The Most High going to make y'all remember. And, I know you got some of these so prideful talking about white guilt. I don't feel no white guilt what my ancestors did. Yeah, I know your yeah, some of your ancestors never owned slaves, but y'all still reap the benefits of what happened. You know, y'all grandparents probably was around in Jim Crow. I'm talking about some of these white Gen Zers. Some of these white Gen Z, oh man, my parents didn't own slaves. What about your grandparents? They could have been around in Jim Crow. I'm sure they was around during Jim Crow. Hey, how's it going, Cheeky History Channel? Shalom. But yeah, talking about, oh, my ancestors didn't own slaves. Y'all full of crap. Y'all full of crap. The black fatigue. How you, if y'all really, like I said, y'all got a mental illness. The majority of y'all pale folks got a mental illness. Y'all want to say we played a race card where y'all playing a mental illness card with this black fatigue. Because if y'all really couldn't, if y'all had to stand towards us, our people, y'all would avoid to not be like us. Because like I said earlier on this stream, the modern, most Gen Z, I'm talking about white Gen Zs. The majority of the white Gen Zs, they listen to hip hop music. If you look, if you go hang around the average 20 teens to 20-year-old white man and white woman, I'm talking about these young Gen Zers, they listen to hip hop music at their parties. Either gonna be hip hop music, or they might listen to some white hip hop music, but they listening to the black hip hop music. I see it in real time in my city. You got these young boys, these white boys, and coming out of high school, man. I'm sure their parents buy them a truck. They be in these jacked up trucks, sitting high, listening to rap music, hip hop music. They ain't listening to no damn country. There's only a few of them. They might switch it up when they go around their parents or grandparents, but when they out and about, like if I'm going to a shopping center, I see them, I just minding my business, and I hear them blasting their music. Man, they listen to hip hop music. So this is some internet buffoonery, black fatigue. Most of them white Gen Zers, they ain't trying to hear that. They trying to be down with Tyrone and Pookie. And trying to get some of Keisha cheeks. Some of these slick little young white boys. Shit. Straight up. I'm calling it what it is. Yeah, it might piss off their racist grandparents, but hey. That's why I say the internet, man, people take everything and run with it on the internet. What's good, Malek Dome? Shalom, brother. What's good? But anyway, yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on this platform. I don't blame you, Malek Dome. You just take it, you just chill in the background. That's how you gotta be on these YouTube streets with all the buffoonery. You just gotta lay in the cut, man. Just keep your ears to the streets. Been working, okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like the words say, you don't work, you don't eat. But you got these heathens, man, these white folks talking about black fatigue, but there's many other stuff. There's many other things to be worried about. Why they so fixated on us? Why they so fixated on what we doing? Why they ain't worried about what them rednecks doing in the trailer park? Why they always worrying about what Tyrone, Pookie, and Keisha them doing? They need to be worrying about what Cletus, Earl, and Earlene doing, and Shirley. They need to be worrying about what Shirley, Earlene, Doug, and Cletus and them doing, and Billy Bob. Why they ain't talking about what Billy Bob be pulling up in Walmart in his damn beat up 1984 Ford pickup with the rust panels on it, smelling like Budweiser and cigarettes. On the passenger side, he got his 400-pound honey boo-boo woman with him. Heathen woman. Yeah. Why they ain't worried about that? Stop. I'm sure I'll piss some of them off just by me saying that. I'm sure I'll piss some of them off. What's good, Yaquaba? I know I'm gonna piss some of them off when they come across the stream. I don't give a damn shit. I could care less. They always obsessed with us. They always obsessed with what we doing. It don't matter if you from the hood. It don't matter if you a thug brother. It don't matter if you a ratchet black person, upbeat black person. They just obsessed with what we do as a whole. Yeah, Honey Boo Boo. They want to be the size of Honey Boo Boo, 400-pound Landwell Beckett, and he's skinny. I mean, he's skinny, smelling like beer and cigarettes. And they going, and you know his woman got to get on the electric cart when they go to Walmart or the grocery store. She got to ride the damn electric cart, killing that poor electric cart. That cart draining the battery. She's so big, she draining the damn battery on the damn scooter. And then if she can't find a scooter, she gonna become a big fat Karen. She gonna raise hell. Why y'all don't get me a riding cart? Get me a riding cart. And Cletus gonna be like, calm down, baby. You go tell them mother effers to get me a riding cart, Cletus. You know I can't walk. I forgot my oxygen tank at the house. You know how they be. Calm down, calm down, calm down. You know? Yep. Yes, indeed. Talking about black fatigue. No, I got millennial fatigue, because our generation was lied to. We was promised the damn American dream. Us millennials, most millennials and Gen Z, we ain't worrying about no damn black fatigue. We worrying about, we got the system fatigue. We was lied to. We was told to go to school for 12 years, go to college, and most millennials, they in student loan debt. You see, I didn't go to college routes, you know, but most millennials, man, they in student loan debt. Most millennials, I'm talking about the elder millennials, which is like maybe 44 to 45. Some millennials, they got a midlife crisis. A lot of us millennials, man, we dealing with midlife crises, man. Shucks. And I feel for Gen Z. Gen Z, man, they stress the hell out. Gen Z got anxiety. They stress the hell out. I be like, man, y'all too young to be stressed out. And I see why now y'all stressed out. You know, you talk to some of these 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, they talk about, oh, I'm stressed out. I be like, you too young to be stressed out. Y'all not even in y'all 30s yet, and y'all stressed out. And I understand why, because, you know, they want to be out on their own like the previous generations before them. But stuff is so hard. Stuff is so hard for them, you know. You got a lot of young people, they working jobs. These jobs don't want to pay a livable wage. You know, if they could buy a new car, most of their paycheck going to these expensive car notes, and they still staying at home with their parents. You see a lot of these youngsters, like Gen Z, you know, like 20 in their 20s, living with their parents. You know, I was watching a video like a few weeks ago, and someone was explaining how that's damaging to their mental health. They have no privacy, and I understand. Because there's a saying, you know, God bless the child that has his own. Even though that's not a verse in the Bible, but it's a true saying, you know, y'all bless the child that has his own, you know. Because any logical person want to move out on their own, have their own place. And that's what's going to end up happening too. A lot of people going to be leaving the country. You're going to have a lot of expats. You got the expat community going on now. Brother Malek, yeah. You have the it's the expat community. Things, man, I mean, what happened to the American dream? And like I say, like, this is going to be the harsh reality for most millennials. Most millennials, man, we're not going to be homeowners. We're not going to have a family, you know. I'm 41. I don't got no family, you know. I don't have the home. I don't got the home, the wife, the dog, and the children. I wanted that, but it's not too late. But the way things getting, you know, shucks. It is what it is, you know. Just gotta do what I gotta do. You know, work on myself, just focus on myself. You can't even afford a family. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? That don't stop people from having children, though. You know, I be seeing some of these youngsters, man, they don't care. They don't care. You gotta get stuff off your chest today, too, bro. Man, when you go fire up that stream whenever, bro, I'm gonna go try to check it out. But yeah. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, man, most millennials, man, you know, we ain't gonna be homeowners, and I accepted that, you know. I'm grateful, you know. I have a spot to lay my head. I'm grateful for that. Yeah, you know it's bad when you can't even buy fast food. Exactly, bro. I know what you're talking about. Cause what happened to the $5 foot long? You don't see that. They don't advertise that no more. The $5 foot long. And I remember back in the 90s. You used to have the dollar menu. Used to have the dollar menu, the great value menu, like at Burger King and McDonald's. You don't have that no more. The dollar menu don't exist these days. That's a thing of the past. That's the thing of the past, bro. The dollar menu. I remember growing up in the 90s, man. You had the dollar menu. You could have had it with $5. If you go to Burger King or McDonald's with $5, you could have buy A whole a whole combo just off of the dollar. For example, you buy a burger or fry, that's $2. You buy a couple of burgers, two fries, and a drink, man. Shucks. Yep, $14 for a damn sandwich, man. That's Subway. $14 for a sandwich. You can make your own sandwich. You can make your own sandwich. Straight up. Yep. Yep. $14 for a freaking sandwich. Yeah, I got millennial fatigue. All this black fatigue. That's the nonsense, man. What about millennial fatigue? We tired of the lies. We tired of the lies. We tired of inflation. We tired of the lies. We tired. And then I'm gonna speak up for my generation. I had to check Gen X. I don't know if he was a boomer. He probably was a boomer or Gen X. Most of Gen X. I talked with this elder. We cool. I had to check him. I said, man, don't shit on my generation. I said, yeah, some of us, ain't right, but a lot of us, man, aware of what's going on. Oh yeah. Because they like to make the millennials the butt of the jokes. And I noticed that, like, out of all the generations, they say Gen Z is the laziest and why they want to make us the butt of the joke. The millennials, they want to say, oh, we were spoiled, we entitled and all that. No, we was the chosen generation, but we was lied to. We was like Anakin Skywalker, but we was lied to, and we ended up becoming Rage and became Darth Vader. We were supposed to bring balance to the generation. We was Anakin. And the previous, we felt like we was betrayed by the previous generations, was like the Jedi Order, and it just made us pissed off, and we became Darth Vader. But we not full-fledged Darth Vader, because if we become full-fledged Darth Vader, we'll start tearing stuff up. We'll start tearing shit up, man. We'll start force choking people, like be cutting everything down like Darth Vader. Yeah, they left us in a mess, Yaquaba. I agree. They left us in a mess. Yeah. Most millennials, man, like a lot of Gen Z, their parents are millennials. Most of their parents probably divorced or they never married. They had broken homes. See, a lot of Gen Z was born in broken homes, and that's why you got stuff like them. And then social media came on to play. That messed society mindset up. You got the dating stuff. Dating scene is jacked up. Nobody want to get married no more. You got women complaining about ain't no good man. You got the men complaining about the women. You got the women complaining about the man. I mean, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. All kind of crazy stuff. Exactly. They want America to be a third world country. And that's what it's heading to. You got a lot of people more homeless. A lot of people becoming homeless. You got tent cities. 1,800. That sound like mortgage. Shaking my head. Exactly. It is a mortgage. That's the price of a house. 1,800. You got people, they charging what? A couple of grand for a studio in New York. Like in certain parts of New York, they charging a couple of grand, about $2,000-3,000 for a damn studio. Man, I'll be damned if I'm paying $3,000. If I had that amount of money, I'm not paying $3,000 for no damn studio apartment. What the hell? That's man. If you can afford that, you might as well try to get you a house, a mortgage. The logical thing to do is get the hell out of New York. That'd be the best thing to do. Get the hell out of New York. They've been telling us in the movies, escape from LA, escape from New York, with the Kurt Russell movies when he played the character Snake Plissken. Snake Plissken, man. That was the movies. Even though the movies, they was prophesizing in the movies. Get the hell out of New York. Get the hell out of California. Yeah, rent, man. That's a damn shame how rent going up though. How y'all expect people to make a living, but y'all don't want to? Y'all gotta balance it out. And they giving the rich tax breaks. They want to give the rich folks tax breaks. Oh, let me give you something to drink. I need some water. Clyburn, they making it worse. I feel like Elder Martin, they march for nothing. Yeah. Yeah, they need to do something about the prices of things because it's not looking too good. And I wonder about the children, like the younger, like Generation Alpha and Gen Beta, the children. I'm talking about like the children of right now, the babies, the infants, and the younger children, like under 10 years old, you know. How's it gonna be for them when they become adults? If this chaos still going on, y'all can imagine, say if some of y'all got children and nieces and nephews, when they become adults, man, I can't imagine how the cost of them, it might be damn near impossible. When they become adults, y'all can imagine in the near future, $4,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. That would be insanity. Y'all can imagine that? $4,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. $8,000 for 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, $10,000. You want to buy a house. The average house starting at least $800,000 or $500,000. That's the cheapest house starting at $500,000. That's $500,000. That's $500,000. $500,000. That's $500,000. That's $500,000. It don't make any sense. That's why I say this system is corrupt. But they want to complain about our people. They need to be worrying about the system. They need to be complaining about this corrupt system. How they getting over the working class. They want to worry about black fatigue. No, we tired of the damn unfair system when it comes. Why they not increasing the wages? You got a lot of people on the internet ranting about why they don't want to work no more. And part of me understand why Gen Z don't want to work. It's not that they lazy. Now let's get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. A lot of them, a good amount of them lazy, but the ones that think, I'm talking about the Gen Z that use their brain as thinking. They don't want to work because they feel like they're working for nothing. They working an underwage job. These jobs not paying enough for them to get out on their own, and it make them depressed, and it frustrates them. And so they just rather quit a job and just be a moocher. Always a young lady, she just rather go try herself doing OnlyFans. Now, I don't condone that. That's not the way to go. But when people back into the corner, they do desperate things. That's human nature. When a human is back into a corner, they're going to do desperate things that they regret later in life. That's the damn truth. That's one of the cold, hard truths about humanity. They're going to do desperate stuff. Straight up. We all being used. Yeah, man, we all being used. Even the politicians being used. They too blind to see. They being used by these entities. These entities that's running the show. These shadow beings, man, these scalebacks. I'm gonna just use the word scalebacks. Y'all know what I mean by the scalebacks. These scalebacks running the politics, man. Trump ain't running nothing. He gotta bow down to the damn scaleback king, the scaleback warlords. And if he don't, he probably got to make a few donations to the scalebacks underground. Make a few donations. And y'all know what I mean by donations. Not no finances neither. It's donations. And you know what? You know what these scalebacks like to do to certain beings, living beings. You know what they like to feast on, these scaleback beings, the scaleback beings. Yep. I won't be surprised if they got to make a certain tribute to these beings every once in a while. Straight up, just to keep their corrupt system going. Yes, indeed. They want to worry about black fatigue. No, us millennials, man, we fatigue of this damn lies. We wanted what our parents had, the house, the family, and then they want to blame, oh, you had 10 years to get yourself together, millennial. Ha ha. What you on the internet crying for? Oh. They like to make millennials the butt of the generational jokes. I'm telling y'all. It's like they like to crap on the millennials. But it's bad for Gen Z though, because like I say, us millennials, we was exposed to the mid-tier internet, the beginning and mid-tier internet. But Gen Z, they got the high-tier internet. They got Wi-Fi. You see, Gen Z, they don't know nothing about no dial-up internet. Gen Z, they don't even know nothing about no dial-up internet. They don't know that. That's why I say millennials, we was exposed to the beginning stages and the mid-tier internet. I want to say us millennials, we didn't start experiencing Wi-Fi till it was like in our I want to say maybe late 20s, us millennials. Maybe mid to late 20s. Exactly. 10 years of sabotage, brother Yaquaba. Yeah. 10 years. Because you remember when the Great Recession happened in what, 2008? Around 2008? They want to say we had 10 years to get ourselves together. No, that was 10 years of sabotage. They sabotaged the millennials. They sabotaged our generational progress. They sabotaged the millennial progress. Straight up. They sabotage our progress. Like I said, you got some millennials probably still paying off college student loan debt. You know? Then they gonna be like, oh well. And the boomers, they just gonna be like, nah, what y'all crying for? Y'all had y'all chance to get it right. The boomers just like, man, F y'all youngsters, I got mine, so get yours. Okay, that's your mentality. Now don't cry when them millennial nurses and Gen Z nurses leave y'all ass to shit on y'allself in the nursing home, y'all old arrogant boomers. Shit, revenge is a motherfucker. I don't condone that shit, but shit, you know, you never know what people going through, man. That's why you gotta watch what you say to certain people, man. Especially if they, you know what they going through. They remember that, man. But, oh, yeah, you that old geezer to talk shit about the millennials and Gen Z. I got something for ya. Yep. But I don't condone beating on the elders. Respect your elders, you know. But don't let them disrespect you neither. Just because they figure they got an age. Because I'll flip it on them spiritually. I'll be like, yeah, you may be older than me physically, but spiritually, I might be 1,000 years older than you spiritually. My spirit might be at least 2,000 years old. Your spirit might just be 200 years old. You know, they're going to look at it tripped out. What you talking about? They're going to be confused. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Flip it on them spiritually. Shucks. Yes, indeed. Yep. Tired of white folks is actually a reality. Again, they lie about everything. Yeah, they try to use this as an anti-black propaganda. That's what I see out of this black fatigue. They want our people to be, you got our people divided over it now. You got black content creators, they going at it about this talking point. Yeah, I hate that woke. They want to tarnish that term too. Woke. All woke mean is that you're aware of your surroundings, what's going on in the world. Just like in a video game. Oh, don't get me started with the video games. You had these damn grifters in the gaming community, these grifter content creators. Every time they see a black character in a video game, they want to cry and moan and complain. You got these grown men bleeding like a woman on her menstrual cycle just because they put in a black female lead in a video game. So what? If they put a black female lead in a video game, or black man lead in a video game, boo-hoo. If you don't like what they put in the game, just don't play the game. But you see what these grifters do? They make none but content trying to persuade gamers not to buy the game. You know? They try to persuade, like with the debacle with Assassin's Creed Shadows. You know? They was going in on that game before that game was released. That's all they was doing, content talking about, oh, why you want to play as a black samurai? They was shitting on Yasuke. And Yasuke was a real person. He was a real samurai. They want to say, oh, he wasn't a samurai. So what? Whether he was a samurai or not, he existed. He actually served under Nobunaga Oda. But these damn grifters, they want to hate on Yasuke, you know. But why y'all wasn't bitching about Tom Cruise playing The Last Samurai? No, because he was a white dude. He was a white dude with blonde hair and blue eyes. You know, y'all want to be everybody culture, but soon as y'all see a black person trying to pay homage to other people culture, y'all want to, oh man, this woke, this woke, this woke, this woke, this woke, that. You know, no, woke just mean that you're aware of your surroundings. You're aware of what's going on in society. You know, certain things that vexes your spirit. And you want to talk about it, but they want to say it's woke. When you call out the bullshit of racism, or when you call out the bullshit of these heathens, they want to say, oh, you woke. You know, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy. Bunch of buffoonery. Yes, indeed. And like I say, they talking about black fatigue. No, we got a lot of fatigues. Us, our people, we got a lot of fatigues. We could talk about job discrimination. You know, what about what our soldiers going through in the military? The black soldiers, they deal with racism. You got some black officers. They could be like a captain, a sergeant, a corporal. And a buck private white dude won't even salute that black officer just because he black. Well, I'm not saluting that N-word. You still an N-word to me. When I bet you when they're in the barracks, I bet you they talk greasy about them black sergeants and black ranking officers in the military. How dare they give that N-word stripes? I'm not bowing down to no damn N-word, monkey in the stripes. You see it on the movie Glory. Just a good example. If you watch the movie Glory with Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman, they promoted Morgan Freeman to a first sergeant in a 54th Massachusetts Regiment. And they had these white Union soldiers griping about it. They was like, one of them was like, stripes on a nigger? That's like tits on a bull. And Denzel heard them clowning Morgan Freeman. They got into a fight, man. Denzel Washington wanted to beat them soldiers up. You know, they supposed to be on the same team, the same army, but they hating on Morgan Freeman because they promoted him to a first sergeant. They was like, stripes on a nigger? That's like tits on a bull. You know? Insecure, racist bastards. That's all it is. That's what the insecurity of them. White insecurity leads to racism. White insecurity leads to racism. You know, and race, and you know, that's all it boils down to. They just insecure, and it just leads to racism and hatred. You know, and like I said, why y'all wanna? We supposed to be what 13, 14% of the population, you know, and we like y'all want to say we 3/5 of a person. But yet y'all still insecure about what we doing. Y'all supposed to be the upper class, right? Why y'all worrying about what the lowly class doing? Why y'all need to be concerned about your own community? You know, yeah, we got issues. All groups of people have issues. Yeah, we do call out the ratchet culture. I can't stand the ratchet culture. And a lot of black people don't like the ratchet and hood culture. They do call it out. Those that have platform to speak. You know? Envy turns to hate. Exactly. Fear, envy, and hatred. You know, they got a mental illness. Y'all, they hate us and all that. They envy and hate us, but yet they still want to be us. They want to dress like us. Some of them, they want to rock our style. You know, man, you got some of these. You got white Rastafarians in Jamaica. They look crazy to see a white Rastafarian. And they be speaking patois too. These Jamaicans, these whites in Jamaica, they could speak they be speaking a Jamaican dialect. Yeah. You know, because you know you have someone born on an island naturally and they speak that, but that's just weird, you know? Yeah. You know? Straight up, I mean, they just want to, they supposed to, they have disdain towards our people, yet they want to be like us. You know, they want to be down, they want to be trying to be cool. They want to try to do all of, like for example, Elvis Presley. We know that damn heathen, he stole black people dancing. He was dancing like a brother, doing all the moves. Where you think he learned that from? He stole that from black folks. He stole that from black folks. Straight up, he stole that from black folks. He stole that from black folks, all them dance moves. And only the Most High knows how much stuff they stole from our people. There's Asian Jamaicans too. I met some in New York. Yeah, Asian Jamaicans. Yeah, because some of the Chinese and Japanese, they moved to Jamaica. Yep. Yeah, it got a lot of Asians. They moved to the island of Jamaica. They moved to the island. Yep. And you see what's happening. They still treat the blacks in Jamaica like they treat in America. You see what they do? All these groups that's moving to the island of Jamaica, they gentrifying some of the good areas. Come on now, you still got some of our people in Jamaica, the blacks, they living in the slums. And they say some of the slums worse than the hoods in America. Some of them Jamaican slums be way worse than the hoods. It'll make the projects in America look like a decent neighborhood. Some of them slums in Jamaica. That's what the colonizers do. The colonizers, they go to the melanated people lands and come with a false hope and take over the melanated people lands and gentrify them and push them out their communities and push them into the slums. That's what the colonizers did. That's how the colonizers roll. That's how the colonizers roll. Yep. They cop everything about us, another fact, and have the audacity to lie when we claiming that they are superior to the original man. Just put that, yeah. Mexico kicked the whites out for trying to take over. Well, shout out to the Mexico. The Mexicans wasn't playing that. Hey, they ain't gonna take over no Mexico. Just like Donald Trump, he want to call it the he want to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Man, I'm still gonna say the Gulf of Mexico. That's what I was taught in school, and that's what I'm gonna keep on saying. It's the Gulf of Mexico, ain't the Gulf of America. It's the Gulf of Mexico. That's how dare he want to change a whole body of water. I'm sure some of you, that's what y'all was taught in school too. It was called the Gulf of Mexico. Now he want to change it to the Gulf of America. Man, he's so much of a hypocrite. I bet you he got Mexicans working for him. Trump. He probably have Mexicans working for him, you know. That's why I say, man, these racists, man, they just retarded. They retarded. They stupid. You know. Just like the so-called neo-Nazi party. I'd be like, if the Nazis, just say if the Nazis would have won World War II and took over America, all y'all American racists, they probably would have executed y'all. They probably would have, because come on now. This is how stupid these racists is. Y'all want to worship Hitler and don't realize Hitler was the enemy of America in World War II. He was the leader, he was in the axis of evil. But these damn white supremacists, they worship Hitler carrying the swastika flag, you know, the Nazi symbols and all that. I'll be like, crazy. So I say they just crazy, man. It's stupid. Stupid. Same thing they talk about. We hate the N-words. We hate the Jews. Don't realize Jesus was black and he was a Jew. So that's the proof right there that the Yahudim was melanated. The tribe of Judah was black. You know, all 12 tribes. You know, that's what I say. They want to claim that too. You got some of these white supremacist groups say that 12 tribes was all white. They say the American whites or the tribe of Manasseh. Yeah, y'all can look it up. It's called British Israelism, some British Israelitism. Yeah, they claim that all Americans, like the white people in America, they the tribe of Manasseh, man. I'll be like, y'all some freaking idiots. Ain't no white folks, man, y'all dwell in that land. Shit. It's crazy, man. Straight up crazy. Yep, British Israelism. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they want to claim that they're the 12 tribes. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Y'all want to claim everything. First, y'all want to be the Egyptians. Now y'all want to be the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, y'all want to discredit anything that our people did. Oh, black people didn't build no pyramids. Y'all want to say aliens did. And I always say, well, if aliens built them pyramids with some melanated aliens, y'all even want to whitewash the damn extraterrestrials. They don't even want to whitewash the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki was melanated aliens, man. It was, you know, if you know, for people that subscribe to that, you know, if I was to do a movie or a documentary about the Anunnaki, I'm gonna show black images. You know, just the term Anunnaki, it makes you think of something from Africa or the Middle East, you know, something from the continent of Africa. Come on now. When you think of the term Anunnaki, you don't think of no goddamn European or white folk. You think of Africans and melanated people, Anunnaki. You know, that's got a melanated flavor to it. You know, for those that subscribe to that, you know, but we know that extraterrestrials, the angels, the Most High Christ, they was melanated beings, you know. Even the damn devil himself, the demons and the devil. Like I always joke, I say Satan was the first nigga. You know, God is a black man, Jesus is a black man, the angels black. Satan was the first ignorant nigga that rebelled against the creation. You know, he just, and when he fell, he took on a form of he take on a form of a heathen, because that's the ruling class of earth. That's the dominant face of American society. So he gonna take on. That's how all entities is. Unclean spirits, demons, whatever. When they want to blend in with certain society, they gonna take on the form of what's dominant, and that's what Satan does. He still take on a form of a melanated person, but when he dealing with the nations, when he dealing with like the powers that be, he gonna take on that heathen form. He gonna take on his heathen form. Because let's say, if he meet with the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, he take on his original form, as a melanated fallen angel. They ain't gonna take him serious. They might take him serious, but it might throw him off. So he just gonna take on that pale form, that pale white man form. With the slick black blonde hair, the blue eyes, with the suits and all that. I'm just saying. Yeah, Torah says white skin is a curse. Look at Kratos, God of War. Yeah, the ashes of Sparta, the ghost of Sparta. Yeah, even in their own mythology, exactly. Even in Greek mythology, that's what happened to Kratos. They doused him with the ashes of his loved ones, and he became white. But you see, the Mormons, they want to flip it. They want to say black skin is a curse. They want to flip it on us, say black skin is a curse. No, it's not. It's a blessing. We don't get no skin cancer. Now, if we stand in the sun too long, we have the risk of getting a heat stroke, but sunburn and skin cancer, it's rare to hear a black person getting skin cancer. We might get a little burnt a little bit, it all depends in some cases, but skin cancer, that's a rare thing. Now, we'll get a heat stroke, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, over sweating. Yeah, that'll happen to us, but as a skin cancer, we get blacker, exactly. Because I work outside. I get a little darker. When I work outside for a living, and everybody be like, oh man, you're getting a tan, man. And I'll be like, I don't have to worry about getting no skin cancer. And you got some of these Negroes, they trying to make fun of that, be like, oh, you're getting darker. These colorism Negroes, man, these damn Negroes stuck on that colorism BS. So what? So what? At least my skin ain't burning. I don't have to worry about getting burnt up like a crawfish. My skin looking all red like a lobster from sunburn. Straight up. Yep. Yeah, but there's nothing. I want to see how long they gonna drag this black fatigue nonsense. Because I see they got other stuff they could be focusing on in this society, but they weren't about black fatigue. Like I say, I got millennial fatigue. Shit, what about that? What about millennial fatigue? Huh? But they weren't about what we doing. Yeah, make it make sense. Excuse me. That must be the truth, because I sneezed twice. Yes, indeed. But yeah, man, I want to see how it's gonna play out, man. I just hope it don't spark no damn race war, because that's what it seems like they trying to do. They trying to stir up racial tension with all this propaganda, as they don't already have enough problems as it is in this society. Yeah, it was easily. Yup. It's not fit for the sun. Exactly. And that's how and just imagine if we had two suns like the planet Tatooine. Ain't no, if Tatooine was a real, let's make it make sense. If Tatooine was a real planet, like the planet on Star Wars, the desert planet on the Star Wars movies, Tatooine, it got two suns. Don't you think the original inhabitants of Tatooine would be black people? They would be black people, melanated people. If they had a planet like Tatooine in our solar system, it'll be black people on that planet. because we know they couldn't survive, man, on a planet like Tatooine. They would have had to wear all the wraps around them. That's why I always say the Tusken Raiders. I make parody of the Tusken Raiders on the Star Wars movie. I be like, man, y'all, they really trying to take a shot. They just want to trying to say the Tusken Raiders. That's black people, the Tusken Raiders. Because think about it. The Tusken Raiders was the original inhabitants of Tatooine. And something happened to them in the lore. According to the lore, I think they got cursed or something. And they had to they had to go live underground, and they mutated, and they had to resurface, and they started wearing them wraps around their bodies, like the mummy wraps, Tusken Raiders. So yeah, they trying to make parodies saying the Tusken Raiders is our people. But we know in reality there had been white folks living underground. It became some mole men, and they had to wear them little wraps around them. Yep. Some studies say Asians been tattooing first. I got to study this. I don't know about that. I know African tribes do the scar tattoos, yeah. But according to Torah, man, Israel not supposed to get body marks and scar. That's Torah. We're not supposed to get tats, and scarring. But yeah, because the Chinese, it's an ancient empire. The Chinese empire is ancient. It's like over what? Compared to American society, America not even 300 years old. The country, the system. It's just like 2 centuries old, 2 centuries and probably 250 years old, probably. Jeez, yeah, some African tribes, they be getting too carried away when they be putting them plates in their lips. I don't know why they do that weird stuff. That's abusing the body, putting them damn plates in their jaw. You know what I'm talking about? When they be stretching their lips, putting them plates in their mouth, and stretching their lips and stretching their ears. Man, I know that hurt. Man, that's abusing their body. Man. Yeah, that's what they do. They part of their tribes. Yeah, that's what some even in the even in the fantasy novel, some barbarian tribes, like if there's the tribe of the elk, they have like an elk symbol, meaning they from the tribe of the elk. Or if they're from the bear tribe, they'll have tattoos representing bears, like bear claws or bear head, Or if they're from the Thunder Stallion tribe, they have thunderbolts with a damn horse, the Thunder Stallion tribe. Now I'm just making stuff. I'm just using that for example, Yep. Oh yeah, that's what I say. Yeah. Yeah, if you got tattoos, don't get any more. Repent and don't get any more. That's all I tell people, that come into the knowledge. But man, it's just played out today. Too many people getting them. I mean, everybody and their damn grandmother getting tattoos. You got older people getting tattoos for y'all's sake. I'm talking about Gen Xers and boomers. You got damn boomers, never got a tattoo in their youth. They damn 70, 80 years old, and I want to go get a tat. I be like, damn, what a wisdom at, you old son of a gun. Where your wisdom at? Shit. I'll be damn if I'm damn 60 trying to get some tattoo. I'll be like, man, I'll be slapping myself silly, man. Shit. The hell. Yeah, it's yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and I don't like seeing a dark-skinned sister getting tattooed. That's a waste, That's a waste, I mean, dark-skinned, light-skinned sister, man, don't get them tats, man, because that was a rare thing to see a woman with tattoos back in the day. The only way you'll see a woman with a tattoo back in like maybe the 70s, 80s, she probably had to have been part of the gang or in the street life, or a rebel. Now these days, man, some of these women got more tats than a 1% biker. They put a 1% biker to shame. Man, I've seen some sisters, they got their whole sleeve with tattoos. I'll be like, we in the sign of the times, man. We in the sign of the times. I mean, they got more tats than a damn biker. It's crazy. We in some crazy times, folks. We in some crazy times. And then you got some of these young dudes out here wearing bonnets, man. What the hell? Wearing a goddamn bonnet? That's for a woman to wear. I understand they got issues with women wearing bonnets in public, But I'm dealing with the dudes, man. They got these damn bonnets on, man. I'm like, what the hell? They look out of order. Wear a do-rag or something. Wear a wave cap. That's crazy. They be on TikTok, social media wearing bonnets, man. They be looking weird. Mm-hmm. They all tatted up. Yeah, like I said, it's probably millennial children. Your children might be millennials and Gen Z. Yeah, I know there's a lot of Gen Z get tatted up. Some millennials too, but Gen Z, man, the average Gen Z child, like the average young Gen Z, man, they got tats. They got more tats before they probably started getting tats when it was like maybe 16, 17. Straight up. Man. Yeah, now they wearing dresses. Yep, exactly. Now they wearing bonnets and dresses, looking all out of whack. Yep. I ain't gonna lie though, Malek. I thought about getting tats, man. It still crossed my mind, because I'm human. I understand where you're coming from, Malek. Because I still get the thought. But if I had a magical ability to make them disappear and magically erase them and stuff, I'll get them. But I always joke. I say, man, I'm glad I didn't because I'll be looking all crazy. Like I'll be all tatted up too. I'll be having all kind of writing on, writing in different languages. They be like, this Negro got what language is that? He got a tattoo in Japanese, Hebrew, Elvish, Dwarvish, Old Norse, Old Gaelic. The old Irish names, Old Gaelic. Man, that Negro got a tattoo of a Minotaur with a flaming axe, and in his right hand, the Minotaur got a chopped off head of a man. That's just me though. I won't put nobody's name on my body. I put stuff I'm into. I put stuff that's in my mind. Yep. But the Native Americans, like some Native American tribes, they always teach against tattoos because they say like tattoos invoke bad spirits and it's open up portals. Because the Native Americans, man, the Native tribes, they know a lot of stuff spiritually. The Native tribes, because they've been battling stuff older than America itself. Real talk. Like some of the Native tribes, they've been battling beings and entities that's older than America itself. Real talk. And that's why a lot of these national parks, these tourist attractions, they are haunted, they cursed because what the white man did to the Native tribes, y'all killed off the spiritual defense, y'all stupid ass heathens. When y'all killed all the medicine men of the Native tribes, y'all damn near wiped out the Native Americans. Y'all killed off the spiritual defense of this continent because they was already here fighting these entities, fighting these damn fallen ones. But when y'all came here to colonize the states, y'all want to wipe them out. Yeah, the Samoans, yeah, they got some cool designs too. Like the Samoan tribes, they tats be cool designs. I'll give them that. It'd be like art, Yeah, they very heavy into the tattoos, the Samoans. But back to what I was saying, man. They kill off the tribes lead. They did what they did to the natives. And the natives taught y'all about the forests. They taught y'all about some of these parts not to go to on some of these land masses. But y'all still betrayed them. Just like the Israelites, when you read the scriptures, when the Most High told Israel to go into the land of Canaan to slay the 7 abominable nations, and when he told the Israelites to kill the men, the women, and the children, and even the animals, you got to think about when he said kill the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Jebusites, and all those 7 abominable nations. Those nations, they was tainted. They had corrupted DNA. They probably had fallen DNA in them. He probably was mutated for all we know. He could have had, it looked weird, They probably could have been non-human entities for all we know, Because the Most High didn't tell them, the Most High told them to wipe them out. He did it. He told them to wipe them out for a reason. He said, Israel, when you go into the land of Canaan, slay those 7 abominable nations. Take them out. Because they was corrupted spiritually. They probably had corrupted DNA. Had the fallen DNA in them. Yep. Giants, they still around too. Giants, they still around. Like I say, you got some people, you have theorists, and some people say that some of the giants, they could have survived the flood. Some of the giants, they could have survived the flood. Some of the fallen beings, they could have probably created a portal to escape the flood and didn't resurface on earth after the flood. It's all kind of theories. It's all kind of theories out there. But yeah, they still finding giant bones. They still around. You still got some of these beings roaming the earth. Some people say the crypt is like Bigfoot, Dogman, Mothman, the Loch Ness Monster. That could have been result of that could have been the residue of the fallen, experiments, the fallen ones, experimenting on the creation. Who knows? Bigfoot could have been engineered by some fallen angels in a laboratory in the ancient time. Took like maybe an ancient gorilla and crossbreeded with a Nephilim giant, and bam, you got Bigfoot. I'm just saying it's a possibility, It's a theory, because a lot of people that's into that, the cryptid research, there's different takes on. Some people say, they animal-like. Some people say they spiritual. Some people say they could be results of the fallen ones. Everybody got their own opinions about these beings and creatures. Just like down here in Louisiana, we got legends down here, like the honey swamp monster, which is like a Bigfoot fused with an alligator. It's like basically a honey swamp monster look like a Sasquatch, with features of an alligator. And then you got the grunch beings in Louisiana, goblin-like creatures they call the grunch. You have you got the alligator legends. I forgot what they call it, but basically they call it the alligator children. Basically, it's like a child that was raised by alligators that live in a swamp. It's a French name they call it. I have to look it up, but they call it like the gator children. I mean, you got all, just like in Florida, you got the skunk ape, the skunk ape and all that. Like every state got their cryptid legends. Every state, West Virginia, they got the Mothman. Texas, they got their creatures too in Texas. I think they got the Bear King, like, or the Bear Man, something like. They got all kind of creatures, Arkansas, they got the Ozark Howler. California got the Night Watchers. They call them the Dark Watchers. Basically, these tall, dark entity-like beings. They watch people when they riding on the highway. They call them the California Dark Watchers, or the Tall Dark Watchers. But yeah, I'm glad y'all enjoying the stream, though. Yeah, because California is a very, don't get me started on Los Angeles. That's supernatural central right there. That's a portal. Los Angeles, I said this before. Many times I say, like, all the vampire, werewolf movies, they take place in either Los Angeles, New Orleans, Louisiana, New York, parts of Arizona, some parts of Texas. That's hot spots. Some of these cities are hot spots for the supernatural. They spots. Las Vegas, because I watch this channel called The Black Cauldron. She a sister. She be talking about the spiritual and the spookism, like some of them people, the spookism and the spiritual stuff. She into spirituality. She claims she don't practice voodoo, but she probably practice voodoo, because a lot of these content creators talking about voodoo and hoodoo and all that, they claim they don't practice the art. They probably low key practice the art though, but that's their business. Whoever they dealing with, they want to deal with them little wasp spirits. They better know what they're getting themselves into. But like I say, to each his own. But yeah, her channel is called The Black Cauldron, And she talk about portals. She said, like, she went to New Orleans. She said even when she went to New Orleans, she had to do a spiritual cleanse. I said, yeah, if you go to New Orleans, you better do a spiritual cleanse. You better pray up. You better be praying that the Most High have the Holy Spirit wrapped around you. Because yeah, New Orleans is a dark place. It's a portal. It's a portal. You know, that's why I say it's like LA. That's why they call it the city of fallen angels. Los Angeles, that's the city of fallen angels. You know, straight up. And people be like, oh man, you overthinking. Oh man, that's fictional stuff. Yeah, you keep thinking it's fictional. Yeah, you could talk all the time. Oh man, that ain't real. Yeah, they don't care if you believe them or not. They believe in your ass. They believe your mundane ass. Oh man, Bigfoot don't exist. Vampires don't exist. The devil don't exist. God don't exist, man. All that exists, man. Just like how we got a physical world, there's a spiritual world. There's the unseen world. That's common sense, man. That's universal knowledge. There's the physical world and there's the unseen world. That's common sense, man. Anybody know that. Don't matter what part of the earth you come from or what's your belief system. Because every culture talks about a physical world and an unseen world. Every culture on earth. I don't care what continent the culture comes from. Every culture, every language, every belief system has a physical. They talk about a physical and they talk about the spiritual. Real talk. When the Maroons was fighting back, they didn't know what was hitting them in the swamp. Bro, I think it was some of them stories derived, bro. Yeah, man. I won't be surprised if the skunk ape was fighting along with the Maroons, man. I won't be surprised if the Maroons knew some type of way to communicate with the cryptids and the spirits of the swamps. Yeah. You probably had some Maroons. They could have been some swamp druids. They probably were swamp druids. You know? The swamp druid, bayou druids, swamp druids, man, use that damn bayou magic on them. You know? Yep. That'd be a cool video game somebody to design. A cool about the Maroons, man. You know, one of the characters be like a swamp druid or a swamp mage. You know, and he could use his magical powers to summon a damn serpent or damn owl to tell them damn heathens. Yep. That'd be a whole Dungeons and Dragons campaign. You could make a whole Dungeons and Dragons campaign based off of the Maroons. You know? Real talk. Yes, indeed. What time it is, though? But yeah, but back to the main topic, though. I'm about to wrap this up. I'm about to wrap it up because I got to go handle some business. I'm about to go wrap this up. But yeah, man, it's black fatigue. It's nonsense, you know, because our people as a whole, we got system fatigue. We tired of the systematic racism. We tired of the unfairness, you know. What about what these doctors doing, giving our black children these written these pills, these oops, I say stuff about that. Now they might get me for medical information. I don't care. They probably gonna remove this stream. I don't care. Like I said, I'm not monetized. YouTube is evil anyway. This whole platform is evil anyway because they trying to silence people that speak truth. They fighting against channels. They want to suppress people channel views. They don't care if you got 1,000 or 100,000 subscribers. Even if you got 1,000,000 subscribers, they still gonna fight against your channel. This platform is wicked. And then you'll have some damn smoke. Well, it's wicked. Why are you using the platform then? Well, why are you using the internet then? Huh? That's how you get them. They say, if YouTube wicked, you need to get off of YouTube then. Well, you need to get off the internet then. That's indeed. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and blessings. Shalom. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday evening. And like I said, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.